Join us and discover beautiful beaches, rugged landscapes, pretty towns, desolate mountain ranges that sweep down to stunning lakes, unique architecture, history and folklore, no shamrocks, no shillelaghs, and definitely no shenanigans, just naked Ireland. Welcome everyone to Drogheda, one of Ireland's oldest and most storied towns. We're beginning our walk today outside Clark's Bar here on St Peter's Street. Take a moment to look around. This street, with its mix of old dodgy 1980s buildings there on the left, makes me feel a little uneasy, particularly since this town has some incredible architecture, as we'll soon see. Now Rory's Barbers there is worth noting, because this town has an inordinate amount of coiffeurs, as I'll point out as I go. Drogheda sits in the River Boyne, about 50 kilometres north of Dublin. The town's name means Bridge of the Ford, a reminder that this has always been a crossing point on the river and a meeting point for cultures. It's one of the few Irish towns that still straddles the border between two counties, Louth in the north and Meath to the south. Now there you go, we haven't travelled far, and there's Erie's Barbers. Now the impressive building with the domed roof at the bottom of the hill, by the way, is the tourist office. More about that in a minute. But meanwhile, just glance to the left and you'll see the Green Man Barbers. So that's just 3 in a few paces. It seems Drogheda is the male hairdressing capital of Europe. We are of course in a very old part of the town here that dates back to medieval times, when Drogheda was surrounded by defensive walls. In the 13th century, this was one of the most important trading ports on Ireland's east coast. It's for that reason that I was confused by the 1980s building we passed, which was in fact the Lawrence Shopping Centre. You'd think something more sympathetic could have been constructed here. I don't mind if it's modern as long as it's beautiful. So just ahead of us is Drogheda's tourist office, housed in the toll sill, an old toll house and a Georgian gem. It's a lovely restored building dating back to 1770 in beautiful limestone, one of the finest in the region. It's a shame the weather's not great today, but sure, that's the way it goes. Now we'll turn right into West Street, the beating heart of Drogheda's commercial life. And there's Dunstores, of course, on the left. Dunstores is a kind of Irish institution. Strangely, I believe it's very big in Spain as well. And the various church bells have just started ringing, clashing a bit with my soundtrack, but church bells are always a welcome sound. And while the weather hasn't been good, people are braving the outdoors for coffees. Fair play to them. One of the things that struck me about Drogheda is the multicultural feel. It apparently has a higher percentage of non-Irish nationals at 17% than the national average, which is 12%. The majority are Polish and Lithuanians. Now it was proposed that this street be pedestrianised in 2026, but the idea was rejected by the local council, which I find kind of strange, but there you go. Now this is the magnificent St Peter and St Paul Church, which ordinarily we'd take a look at inside, except I've done a whole video on this place as it's so interesting. It has the severed head of St Oliver Plunkett inside. Going back up West Street, if you look closely as you walk, you'll see a story literally set in stone. Embedded in the pavement are historical plaques, small bronze markers that commemorate key moments and figures from Drogheda's past. Each one offers a glimpse into a chapter of the town's history, from medieval guilds and merchant families to revolutionaries and artists. It's worth pausing to read one or two as you go. Drogheda has seen triumph and tragedy in equal measure. In 1649, the town was the site of one of the most infamous events in Irish history, the Siege of Drogheda, when Oliver Cromwell's forces stormed the town during the English Civil War. Over 2,000 defenders and civilians were killed. The massacre became a rallying cry across Ireland for generations and shaped Drogheda's identity as a symbol of resistance and endurance. Yet from the ashes, Drogheda rebuilt. And And guess what? There's another barbers. The town later became a hub of trade, particularly in the 18th and 19th centuries, with linen production, shipbuilding and brewing among its major industries. The port remains active today, one of Ireland's oldest working harbours. There's also a lot of redevelopment work to be done here. We're walking along St Lawrence Street now. As we move down, look at the Georgian architecture lining both sides. The impressive facades, sash windows and elegant proportions reflect Drogheda's prosperity during the 18th century, when merchants and landowners invested heavily in the town's appearance. And it seems everywhere you look, there's a gem of a building waiting to be discovered. And over here as well. This 18th century architectural look reflected a broader wave of Georgian urban development across Ireland. Cities like Dublin, Limerick and Waterford all established elegant terraces like these. Drogheda's version may be smaller in scale, but carries the same sense of order and confidence. A window into a time when Ireland's towns aspired to continental grace. At the end of the street looms one of Drogheda's most striking landmarks, St Lawrence Gate. Take a moment to admire it. And St Lawrence Gate is beautifully framed by the impressive Georgian buildings, so different styles of architecture can certainly coexist well together. This towering twin-gated barbican is a 13th century relic of Drogheda's medieval walls. Originally the town was entirely enclosed by a series of gates like this, controlling trade and defending against invaders. St Lawrence's is the best preserved and arguably one of the finest examples of its kind in Ireland. It once led directly to the road toward Dublin. Imagine merchants and soldiers passing beneath it, the clattering of hooves echoing in the large arch. Today it stands as a proud reminder of the town's medieval might. I've doubled back now towards the centre, retracing our steps to the crossroads of St Peter's Street and West Street, and I'm now walking down Shop Street. Shop Street leads us towards the river. On your left, after this interesting looking pub, the Admiral, you'll pass the Augustinian church with its elegant spire and quiet dignity. The Augustinians have been part of Drogheda's spiritual life since the 13th century. Their present church, though Victorian in appearance, continues a long tradition of scholarship and community service. And are the people of Drogheda friendly, I hear you ask? There's your answer. And if you're feeling friendly, please like the video and make sure you subscribe. A large proportion of people watching Naked Ireland videos do so without subscribing, but if you hit the red button, it really encourages the channel, something to do with an algorithm, and it means that you're more likely to find my videos in the future when they're published. But it helps so much generally. Another thing that helps is buying me a pint, should you feel super generous. Yes, you can donate to the channel by following the link in the second paragraph of the description beneath this video. That'll take you straight to the donation page, and you can buy me a pint, or as many pints as you want. Again, it all helps out so much. We now cross the River Boyne, whose waters have shaped Drogheda's destiny for over 1,000 years. The Boyne flows eastward from the historic battlefields near Oldbridge, the site of the Battle of the Boyne in 1690, where the forces of King William of Orange defeated King James II. That battle, just a few kilometres from here, changed the course of Irish and European history. And you can see a Naked Ireland video on the Battle of the Boyne as well. As we reach the bridge, we pause and look eastwards downriver. In the distance you can see the Boyne Viaduct, an elegant railway bridge opened in 1855. Its soaring iron arches carried the Dublin-Belfast line. A marvel of Victorian engineering that still impresses today. When it opened, it was one of the longest bridges in the world. If you travel from Belfast to Dublin by train, you'll cross that bridge. Now as we turn our gaze up on the hill beyond the far side of the river, perched above is Millmount, home to Drogheda Museum. The round tower you see is built on what is believed to be an ancient burial mound, possibly connected to the legendary Queen Meath. In the 12th century, the Normans built the fortress here, and it remained a strategic military site for centuries. Close by stands St Mary's Church, another landmark of Drogheda's religious life. Its graceful spire is visible from much of the town. The church's roots going back to the medieval period, though the current building dates largely from the 19th century. We're now up in Upper Magdalen Street, heading west, and you can see the Magdalen Tower rising ahead of us, a striking remnant of a Dominican friary founded in the 13th century. Pause for a moment when you reach it. This tower once formed part of a large monastic complex. In the 14th century, it was here that Irish chieftains met to acknowledge the authority of King Richard II of England. Imagine the scene, banners fluttering, nobles kneeling, and the sound of bells ringing from this very tower. The friary was dissolved during Henry VIII's Reformation, but the tower remains, tall, elegant, and a silent witness to more than 7 centuries of change. Now let's make our way back down towards St Peter's Street again, where our walk will end at St Peter's Church of Ireland, a beautiful Georgian building that's easy to spot just off the main road. This church dates from the 18th century, though it was heavily remodelled in the early 19th century, when Drogheda's Anglican community expanded. This church sits on a site used for Christian worship for over 800 years. This new church, not that new now, built in 1753, was designed by Dublin-based architect Hugh Darley. The tourist office we saw earlier in the video, which has similarities, was by George Darley, presumably a relative. The rather sober interior, very beautiful in its own simplistic way, contrasts with the Catholic St Peter's Church that we viewed in a separate Naked Ireland film. Everything crafted in wood. While slightly austere, the whole effect is very focused, very beautiful in fact. So a serene way to finish the video, so I'll see you all very soon for another Naked Ireland.